Huffer is cynical, hard-boiled, and pessimistic. His comrades would say he looks at the world through sludge-colored windshields. He will complain that it can't be built, then builds it anyway. Huffer is not too sociable, but absolutely reliable. His arm sensors can test materials for strength, heat, resistance, elasticity, etc. Huffer is extremely strong, and possesses superior mathematical and geometric abilities. However, he is often unhappy and homesick for Cybertron. Unlike most of the original Transformers figures that came from Takara's Diaclone and Microchange lines from Japan, Huffer is one of 4 Autobot minibots that originated from the never-released Mysterion line of figures from newly defunct toy company Knickerbocker. Acquired by Hasbro for their 1984 first wave of Transformers, this little orange truck would go on to become Autobot construction engineer Huffer. Featured all throughout the first 2 seasons of the series, Huffer is often seen working hard, getting things done, and always complaining along the way.
Yo, Gears! Get with it! Put that slab in right, or we're gonna be here till the Big Dipper gets rusty! My arm! It's jammed in here! I can't get it out!
Robot dinosaurs might be useful. You have my authorization.
It'll never work. Big waste of time. Dinobots, huh? I thought you were supposed to make dinosaurs.
Decepticons. Looks like all of them.
Oh, we're doomed. Without Optimus Prime, we're no match for the Decepticons.
If Megatron succeeds here, he'll be impossible to beat on Cybertron.
But we're not fighters like they are, Prime.
We must have courage, Huffer. We can't ignore the danger. We must conquer it.
Well, my friends, if you're here, that means one thing. You're back for more punishment. So let's not waste any more time. This is Season 2, Episode 20, The Autobot Run. God help us all. Amid a sizable crowd of faceless people, Spike and Chip are watching an auto race, apparently. Let us watch too.
Wasn't it, Chip? Yeah, but hey, it'd really be terrific if the Autobots were in it. Like a big race for charity. If Optimus Prime would go for it. But Bumblebee, how would you feel about a little racing?
Okay, so long as it's under the speed limit.
So why is he on the grass, and why did he not approach from the parking lot 20 feet away? Oh, screw it.
Constructicons, attention! When will you complete the Transfixatron?
In 1 moment, Master Megatron. The Transfixatron is finished.
Yes, the MacGuffin of this episode is called the Transfixatron. Brilliant. Laserbeak reports back to Megatron, as always.
Laserbeak, report on your surveillance of the small humans.
Yeah, but hey, it'd really be terrific if the Autobots were in it. Like a big race for charity.
I shall make good use of that information after I test the Transfixatron.
Before his plan can kick into full gear, Megatron decides to have a little fun.
I feel nothing! Your precious invention is high-tech garbage!
Really? Then transform back to your root mode, Starscream, and come back to me.
I can't transform! What have you done to me?
I have transfixed you in your present state, and you will stay that way until I free you.
The boys make their slick pitch to Optimus
He
Prime.
goes to charity. So what do you say, Optimus Prime?
It is a worthy cause, and we have been rather inactive lately.
Go for it, Optimus. I need action or I'll rust out. I'm sure a large audience would enjoy my performance.
Just a waste of time and energy, if you ask me.
Who's asking you, party pooper?
Oh, snap.
First, somebody's got to stay here and stand guard. Tell you what, Huffer, Wheeljack and I will keep you company.
All right, then.
With crappy animation and zero communication with the event organizers, the Autobots leave for the races like entitled diva A-listers.
All for the show!
And now, to compete in the greatest automobile race in history, ladies and gentlemen, our celebrity guests, the sensational Autobots!
Hey, where are their cars?
Sit down, asshole. And with that, we're off to the races and all sorts of other lazy puns. With some fun-friendly competition, the Autobots talk mad shit to each other. And for once, Mirage's disguise is not a dead giveaway, save for his spooky ghost driver. Skywarp teleports above the race and uses the Transfixatron on the Autobots. Nobody sees or hears this.
What was that? I don't know.
Probably just energy evaporation from all the speed, maybe. I hope.
What? Skywarp rejoins the Decepticons.
Bye-bye, Mirage, baby!
Come on, Autobots! Floor those accelerators! You're almost home!
Who's cheering for what exactly?
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Autobot Run well, I guess the real winners are us, folks. It's been a whale of a show.
Yay! We got your money. Buy merch and beer. Seeing no need to transform for an extended period of time, the Autobots perform car stunts.
What are they doing, Spike?
Making Evel Knievel look like a kiddie car driver.
Shut up, Spike. Things take a sour turn just in time for the act break.
Decepticons, prepare for attack! Autobots, transform!
Optimus, something's haywire. I can't transform. Me neither. We're stuck.
Megatron clears the crowd with eye lasers we will never see him use again.
That's better. Now we can accomplish the purpose of our little visit. The total destruction of our helpless foes.
And we go out as he struts his fancy stuff.
Anyway, in order to prepare for this episode, I had to do a little bit of research on the character Huffer. And let me just say, when you Google search the word Huffer, some really disturbing mugshots come up. And now, let's talk about an Autobot who does not have a drug problem.
Huffer's most noteworthy appearance in Marvel Comics came from the issue that introduced the Constructicons. After being scolded by Prowl for not working on his assigned tasks, it becomes clear that Huffer was spending his time trying to contact Cybertron, being as homesick as he was. Shortly after, he found himself on a mission to stop the Constructicons from doing that very same thing. Along the way, he teams up with human trucker Bomber Bill, whose truck has been stolen by the Decepticons. Making a hard choice in the end, Huffer destroys the communications relay. Despite his heroics, he is as surly as ever about it. Huffer is one of those characters who has a blink and you'll miss him appearance in 1986's Transformers the movie. However, he is seen doing road work on Earth outside of Autobot City. Although his death is never seen or confirmed in the movie, like his discontinued comrades, he is nowhere to be seen in Season 3. His mold, however, is recolored and retooled for Season and Wave 3 to create a brand new Autobot, Pipes. In the Season 3 episode Dark Awakening, our heroes visit a crypt in space containing the remains of their fallen brothers. Through dialogue, Daniel Witwicky confirms that Huffer's remains are there.
Ironhide, Ratchet, Prowl, Huffer.
But don't get me started on Season 3 continuity. Not yet, anyways.
We can't transform, but we're not helpless. Autobots, roll for it!
We now return to Trucks vs. Planes.
Destroy him and his minions!
Bumblebee urges Chip and a whiny Spike to escape with him to safety.
We can do more to help them back at headquarters.
Destroying Autobot tires, engines, and communications, the Decepticons all but immobilize their mortal enemies.
Now take them away!
And to make things worse, we can't make radio contact with Optimus and the others.
I know the racing bit was bad news, but would anybody listen to me? Oh, no.
Stifle it, Huffer, or I'll put my footio in your audio!
That was not funny. Chip gets down to business.
What's your plan, Chip?
I'm feeding Teletran 1 your transforming process data. Maybe it can tell us what went wrong.
According to those figures, the only thing that could prevent transformation is some kind of transfixation ray.
What if Megatron came up with such a thing?
Well, we could devise an ultra-frequency ray to counteract its effect.
Brilliant logic or lazy bullshit writing on a short deadline? You decide.
Ironic, isn't it, Autobots, that after so many valiant battles, you will meet your end in the crushing jaws of this device so lovingly fashioned by my Constructicons?
Not having destroyed his mortal enemies yet, Megatron, for the second episode in a row, has all of them incapacitated and plays parlor games like a 1960s Batman villain. I'm not making this up. I mean, you're watching the same shit I'm watching. Ignoring a major past story beat, Hound is able to covertly project a hologram all the way back to Autobot base, cluing the others into their location. Wait, can he do that? Oh, this blows. Soundwave tries to retcon the plot hole, but is mere moments too late.
Transmission terminated.
Wheeljack has a plan.
Done. I can't believe how fast we put it together. If we're right, this grenade will release energy rays that'll counteract Megatron's transfixation.
Yeah, but if you're wrong...
Then we might possibly do even more harm than has already been done.
Our second embarrassing act ends with a cliffhanger where Ironhide faces death against something a 7-year-old designed. I hope he'll be okay.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Whoa, wait, what?
The Transformers will return after these messages.
They just used the commercial bumper music for G.I. Joe. Is it possible the people that made this episode care about it just as much as I do? Well, in this episode, we deal with transformation. More importantly, the Autobots not being able to transform anymore. So I thought we'd take a little bit of a look at the history of transforming robots and how it applies to our franchise.
When it comes to transforming robot toys, honorable mention must go to the first of their kind, and that would be 1975's Brave Raideen figure from Japanese toy company, Popey. Even prior to the release of Transformers, Tonka's GoBots had beaten them to the toy shelves by a matter of months. Even though Transformers sold more overall, GoBots really didn't do all that shabby in the end. Not to mention the deluge of imposters that would come after to cash in on the craze. So what was it that set Transformers apart from all the others? Well, personally, I'd have to go with character, story, a brilliant marketing team, and that amazing transformation sound effect.
Autobots, transform!
Despite the famous lyric, Robots in Disguise, the use of transformation as camouflage was out the window pretty early in the G1 cartoons, as the Autobots were seen very early in the series cooperating with humans. In the third season, transformation is explained to have not been a natural ability that the Cybertronians were created with. At the outbreak of the Great War, the Autobots developed the ability to transform as a means of stealth to attack their Decepticon enemies. Eventually, the Decepticons would learn this ability as well, and use it to retaliate in kind. At the start of the third season, we learned that all Transformers possess a body part known as a transformation cog, or a transform cog, which allows them to convert from one mode to the other. Later stories such as Transformers Prime would later refer to them as T-Cogs. Later, after the end of the series, G1 Toys continued with Action Master figures, Transformers who would give up their ability to convert in order to become stronger, faster, and more powerful in robot mode. Early Marvel comics also depicted the Transformers evolving to develop this ability out of necessity, with the Decepticons first learning how to transform in order to attack as war machines. Soon after, the Autobots would learn this ability as well in order to defend themselves. The UK Marvel comic would later retcon this idea to say that they gained their ability to transform from Primus, the god of light. Primus gave them this ability copying that of the evil god Unicron. As Unicron could transform from colossal robot to planet, Primus chose to lay dormant through time, becoming the planet Cybertron itself, as the Transformers would then be born out of him. The name Transformers allows the brand to constantly evolve with each new telling. After G1, Beast Wars introduced the concept of Transformers turning into animals, with semi-organic body coverings on the outside to shield them from energon radiation. In the sequel series Beast Machines, the entire planet of Cybertron experiences an upgrade that fuses metal and organic tissue on a cellular level. But it was the Japanese sequel series Beast Wars 2nd that first depicted the Transformers as being able to scan internally and then choose whatever form they wanted to turn into. Many newer versions of Transformers involve this idea of self-scanning bots. Personally, I think it defeats the point of being a Transformer, but according to Global Box Office, I'm in the minority on that one. Many newer comic books and animated series depict the Transformers as simply being given their alternate mode, with no choice, and finding themselves living in a caste system on ancient Cybertron, where their careers are dictated by what they turn into. In most of these tellings, this caste system is what leads to the original outbreak of the war. With the legend of the first 13 Cybertronians comes Transformer Prime's telling of Amalgamus Prime, the first to transform. Being able to shift and convert into any number of possible combinations, Amalgamus was gifted by Primus himself with the original transformation cog. In order to avoid losing the trademark on the word transform, Hasbro now uses it sparingly on toy packaging, instead referring to the act as converting whenever possible.
What's happening? Ship changing.
My gosh, it's not just a spaceship. It's a Transformer!
The 1980s was a decade of robots on the big and small screen, and there's no denying Transformers' influence, or at least participation, in all of it. In the late 1990s, the screenplay for The Phantom Menace was completed, and in that story, when the first destroyer droid stands up and converts from ball mode to three-legged tripod, in that screenplay, in George Lucas's own words, it is described as transforming.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We're gonna go back from commercial. If they don't use the G.I. Joe music, we don't have to watch the rest of the episode. That's my deal to you, okay? Here we go.
We now return to the Transformers.
Shit. I'm sorry. Let's finish it.
Surviving pop culture brain whiplash, we return to the final act of our episode. Hey, you remember the first episode when I joked about Roller never coming back after his first appearance? I was wrong! Here he is!
I'd call it a target!
Through wacky hijinks and top-dollar animation, Roller distracts the Decepticons long enough so that the rest of our team can arrive. Ignoring his busted engines and slashed tires, Optimus Prime frees Ironhide. Somehow. This plot has more holes than Swiss cheese.
Wheeljack, protect that grenade!
As zany Roadrunner-style antics unfold, Wheeljack's anti-transfixatron grenade is put into play. I cannot believe I just said that out loud.
Now, if I can just get close enough to the Autobots...
Ravage, stop him!
Ravage displays a disturbing act of abuse on a kid's show, but that doesn't stop Chip from overcoming his always and helping his friends. Seriously, fuck off, Ravage.
I'm transforming! I see my true beauty emerging!
You won't last long enough for repairs, Optimus Prime! Constructicons, in this charade, now!
all the repeating beats of past episodes, we close out on Devastator as our final action set piece, and it's never been more painful to the eyes.
Goodbye, Autobots! Devastator is back! Finish them! Prepare for oblivion, Autobots!
Hey, Devastator! You'll get a real charge out of this!
Those beams, they make me feel strange!
If my theory's correct, the Stephenson ought to cancel Devastator's robot form.
As Devastator describes the feeling of climbing the ropes in gym class, Wheeljack makes an implausible assumption out of nothing, with zero reasoning whatsoever.
It's not possible! They've beaten Devastator!
And now we're gonna beat you, Megatron! Ain't we, fellas?
We're outnumbered!
Let me guess, we retreat!
Starscream gets it.
Ironhide, Trailbreaker, I believe you know what to do.
With pleasure, Prime!
At last, this episode ends with a joke focusing on Ratchet, and not Huffer, or the fact that his complaining and unwillingness to participate is ultimately what saved the day in the end. It's almost like they didn't have time or money to rewrite this script before it had to be animated and recorded. Whatever, I'm glad it's over. Goodbye.
Well, we survived another one. I salute you. Now, did they make mistakes? Yeah.
Okay, right off the bat, this episode is so poorly animated, it looks like a Saturday morning cartoon that got cancelled before it was even aired, and already I'm pissed. So not only am I curious how does Chip manage to get into the car, but how does he manage to fit with his wheelchair behind the driver's wheel? And you'll probably say, well, Bumblebee can maybe make a ramp come out because he's a Transformer and he has all kinds of gadgets, but like, why not animate that? Oh right, cheap, shitty episode. This most likely recycled animation of Laserbeak flying looks like he's inverted or possibly flying upside down. Soundwave's eyes are half red and gray instead of completely red like they're supposed to be. Once again in this episode, every shot of Megatron, the color of his gun barrel on his back is too dark. It should be the same color as the rest of his body.
I have transfixed you in your present state, and you will stay that way until I free you.
I need action or I'll rust out. I'm sure a large audience would enjoy my performance.
Okay, let's all listen to those two lines again, but let's all pretend they're talking about Transformers sex.
I need action or I'll rust out. I'm sure a large audience would enjoy my performance.
Hilarious. Okay, so here's the biggest mistake of the entire episode. After we make a big deal that Huffer is not going to go with them to the race, we see them all leave, and we see Huffer going with them to the race. Just stupid. Why do the race lights sound like Teletran 1? And why would lights ever make sound? Okay, listen, you can almost hear the voice actor cringe as he reads this line, knowing he needs to pay his bills on time.
Probably just energy evaporation from all the speed, maybe. I hope.
I think I'd rather be watching something a little more mature right now. I wonder if He-Man is on. So this old guy in the crowd is clearly yelling something, but his line is cut, but we still see him. So Megatron shifts between two different models. As he walks away here, you can see all of a sudden his evil guy liner comes back. So can they drive or not? Like, what's going on here, really? So why does the hologram projector sound like every other gun on this show?
Alert! Energy transmission detected.
I mean, of course it was detected. You'd have to be deaf to not detect that shit. Once again, I thought all their engines were dead. Uh-oh. Better get Mako. Thundercracker, not Skywarp, teleports, then reappears as Starscream, speaking in Skywarp's voice. Foreground motion with no motion in the background, that's just terrible to look at. Okay, let's just be aware that this is a grenade they're tossing, and it seems to go off when it's activated by contact, and look at how they keep catching it, and we never see it activated. Until it is. Look at how Soundwave runs. That's just silly. I guess Chip brought his all-terrain wheelchair. Brawn is seen regaining his ability to transform, even though he specifically stayed behind. These guys reappear as if they were invisible. Wow, look at this quality. Devastator's eyes change from the old model to the new.
Extinguish their laser cores forever, Devastator! Finish them!
Dude, you had them immobilized for the entire episode. Pick a lane! Windcharger's face is a hot mess. So why would the Autobots destroy this clearly effective weapon? Why would the Decepticons just leave it behind, or why would they never try to build another? Also, more importantly, why should any of us give a shit?
Well, I don't know about you, but I've never been so happy to be done watching Transformers in my entire life. So, let's move on and say I'll see you next time. I hope you're not scared off, and you'll join us for the next episode, which is Attack of the Autobots, an episode with substantially better animation than the last two that we've watched. So, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll do my best to try keeping it as entertaining as possible, and I do hope to see you back here next time. Thank you for watching.
I know the racing bit was bad news, but would anybody listen to me? Oh, no.
Stifle it, Huffer, or I'll put my footio in your audio!